So a warm welcome to all the kids that are tuning in on our survival series. So I'm Nikki here at andBeyond in Gala, and today we're going to be chatting about how to get water in the African bush. Now imagine we are going on a little walk, or let's say we're going camping somewhere, we took a bit of water with us, and eventually the water runs out. So where do we find water is probably going to be the most important question, because I mean without water, like, you won't be able to last too long in an environment like this, especially on a very warm day. And just look behind me, you'll see there's a big riverbed here. So we're basically in a riverbed, but there's no water. So I think over this next little while, I'm going to take you through a variety of different techniques that we can find some water here in the African bush. But I think while we do that, let's go on a journey and see what we can get. So I don't know if you can notice, but the whole area behind me here and coming down, it looks like there's a little path that's coming down into this little riverbed that we are in now. So what's most important is, I mean, this is one of the techniques we can find water, is by following animals. Now with a trail like this, so normally elephants, buffalo, zebra, wildebeest, waterbuck are very water dependent animals, and they will need to go to the water to drink and then go back and then start just feeding off some of the plants in the nearby area, and then eventually come back again. So a very well-worn trail like this would often lead us to water, and that's what we're trying to follow as we carry on. Maybe there's a chance as we follow this that we might come across a bit of water. So we followed that game trail all the way down into this little riverbed. Remember, we said we're going to follow the elephants, possibly buffalo, waterbuck, wildebeest. So it all came down here, but you can see there's no water around us, but the water is actually underneath this layer of sand here. Now, with the hole here, I can just imagine how elephants would have come down and used that trunk almost as a scoop and started scooping some of the sand away to get to the water down there. And I think that's what we're going to do right now. Right, let's give it a go. Let me just lean forward now, but it's very important here. So often when elephants dig this, as soon as you get too close to the hole, it will start breaking and going, all the sand will start rushing to the middle, and that's not what you want, because then you're not going to get to your water. So you also want to lean over it and then use your hand and then scoop. But have a look at the sand already. So I mean, outside here the sand like breaks apart quite easily, but inside here, look at how moist it is. You can see there's a bit of damp soil here. So this also, if you had to squeeze this, you'll probably get some water out of it. But I think what we'll do is let's dig deeper and see if there's any more water that we can find. Alright, I think I got some water. So, scooping it from the bottom. So look there. So this, if we scoop more of it, see there's a bit of sand in it, but I can always press that out and hopefully fill my water bottle. So what I probably need to do now is have like a little cloth, put the sand in there and squeeze it, and then see all the water will come out, and hopefully we'll be able to drink that. Now because of the sand, it filters the water, so it's nice and clean. We don't have to go and boil it, but any other water that we do find, there's a good chance that we need to go and boil it. Now I'm going to show you another technique. Now trees are very important. So trees, we can get our food, we can possibly, some of the other trees like the marula trees, we can dig for the roots and get the water out of it, but it takes a lot of effort. Trees will lose water through their leaves. It's a process known as transpiration. If we can catch that with the heat, we will be able to catch little droplets of water that will come out of these leaves. I brought a plastic bag with, just to show it. And normally the more leaves you can get in, the better. So I'm going to use a little bit, so I might not get too much water out of this. But what you do is you take the leaves, put them inside the bag like this, and you tie the bag up like that. And then you're going to leave it. Now, basically what will happen from here is like this tree now would lose the water through these leaves here, but because the water can't escape into the atmosphere, it will eventually seep down and probably end up right over here for this afternoon. So let's give it a go. So one of the other ways we can do this, and this is one of the methods that I won't really recommend if you could not find water in any of the other methods that we described. So let's say if I take a bit of elephant dung like this, it has to be like quite fresh dung. If it's old, you're not going to get a lot of water out of it. But if I squeeze it, you might start seeing some water coming out of it. Look at that. And I mean, if you had to take quite a bit of elephant dung and you had a container, you'll be able to get quite a bit of water out of it. But what I could also recommend, instead of doing it with your hands into a container, maybe take an old sock or 2 pairs of socks to put it on. You can take an old shirt, whatever you'd like, but then as soon as you squeeze it, it acts as a bit of a filter, so it catches a lot of the sand, maybe some little particles that could be in the dung, just so it doesn't go into the water that you're drinking. And then I would also recommend to boil those water, but you have to be careful, because if you drink too much water from animal dung or maybe the stomach content, they might eat something that is toxic to us. So this is a very last resource that I would go to. Now, some of the other things you could possibly look out for is something like rocks. You can see this is an old, probably millstone that was used by the Shangans from this area. So that's the local people. They would have probably like ground their corn in here, and you can see probably from a little bit of rain recently, or maybe even from someone watering the garden, there was a bit of water that landed on here. Now, this is just an example for us to use, especially when you head out there and you don't necessarily like find water anywhere else, or you might after a bit of rain but you had no way to catch up the water. Is like often go look for rocks, because you might find that there's some water trap in here. So that's one other option. And then one of the last ones I want to share with you is something like an aloe plant. So behind me, this is just an example of one. There's quite a few around here. Now, they do grow in areas where there's often not a lot of water. Now, these plants store quite a bit of water inside the leaves. So I'm going to just hold it like this so you can almost like see in it here. Now, if I would push this, have a look at the amount of water that comes out of this leaf here. Now, it is quite bitter, but I mean, in a survival situation, you're just trying to do everything you possibly can in order to survive. Alright, so those are just a few of the techniques that we shared this morning with you. I hope all of you enjoyed it, but I think it is such an amazing thing to be able to get all this knowledge, because I mean, I think sometimes we do take it for granted. Whenever we're at home, we can just open the tap and there's water, but I think often here, animals, as well as if we had to be in a survival situation, you really need to work hard, and you need to be really proactive about doing it. So you can't just go around and move to a place. You need to think, okay, if I go there, would I find water? Do I need to use the landscape? Okay, where there's a river, normally the landscape goes down, there might be a lot of trees. So those are some of the things that we can use in order to find the water. But I think for now, hopefully you enjoyed those techniques. Stay tuned, let's see what's the next survival series going to be about. But for now, I think after working so hard, I'm definitely going to take a sip of water just to enjoy it.